Hey everybody, welcome back to Soccerex TV. I'm here with Amanda Vandervort, president of the USL Super League. Amanda, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So Amanda, the USL Super League has not launched yet, but your responsibilities are certainly have started already. Can you explain a bit about what your roles and responsibilities are going to be as the president of this new league?
Yeah, as the president of the USL Super League, I mean, what an incredible opportunity to be at the USL and part of this broad infrastructure that we have to oversee the women's professional league here at USL. And I will add, we're encompassing of the professional league, but also, of course, the foundation below that, from our girls academy through the W League and up to the Super League. And my responsibility is really oversight of the entire women's pathway here.
So you explain that pathway and the different levels. So you have the W League, which is already started, and it has a lot of different teams. Can you explain to people how the structure is actually going to work with such a large group of teams that already exist and obviously a tiered structure?
Well, the W League is our pre-professional property. We launched last year in 2022 with 44 teams, and this year we expanded to 65 teams in a full national footprint. So really the W League is now coast to coast, and we're featuring top youth national team players, top collegiate players really across this country. So we're really, really proud of the W League and the success that we've had there. The W League is independent of the Super League, though, two really different frameworks. Whereas it's amateur players that compete in the W League, the Super League is fully professional. So every player, in the Super League will be at the professional level, as well as our clubs. So the Super League, which launches in the fall of 2024, we've announced our initial 8 teams that'll be part of the Super League, with more to come, and then 5 that have committed for future market or for future announcement dates, pending the development and builds of a lot of their stadiums and infrastructure projects. So the Super League is fully now underway, with clubs getting ready and getting set up for the launch in August of 2024.
Fantastic. So you spoke about the 8 teams that you have right now, plus the 5. I looked through all of them. Of course, you have Washington, D.C. and some other very kind of unique markets. Obviously, there's nothing from New York or LA right now, some of the usual marquee markets. How are you determining where teams launch and where maybe you looking to go to in the near future?
Yeah, well, certainly there's a process involved with the federation in terms of sanctioning to ensure that our clubs are up to the standards that U.S. Soccer has set forth, and that involves things like market size, stadium availability, ownership structure, and the ability ultimately to fund the team. So those considerations, but also we really believe that bringing more soccer to more communities and more opportunities for women across this country is a great thing. And when we look at the number of women's soccer teams and opportunities that are available in the pro space today for women, 12, 14 pro teams in this country. You compare that to the over 100 men's professional teams in America right now. There's a huge opportunity gap. And we believe at the USL, the Super League has the opportunity to fill that. And again, creating more opportunities.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I have to also ask, we have the Women's World Cup that's coming up, and we always know that World Cup cycles really end up fueling a lot of new interest from new fans. How do you anticipate, regardless of the success of the U.S. women's national team, which we're hoping do really well, how do you see a World Cup putting a big step forward for the USL League right before you're going to launch the following year?
Yeah, what an opportunity for us to have the energy, the excitement around the Women's World Cup, as kind of a stepping stone for us as we launch the league. I think it's an opportunity for us to listen to fans, engage with fans, really understand what fans are looking for in each of these communities as it relates to women's soccer, have viewing parties, create a dialogue with fans and in all of these different markets. And it also gives us an opportunity to identify and get to know players, from the out who are performing on the world stage. And, we're excited about how, the launching pad of the FIFA Women's World Cup at this time. And then, of course, the Olympics next summer, too. We know the Olympics is a huge opportunity in women's soccer. And so we see that leading right into our first weekend, both as key moments, key tentpole opportunities for us to really, be part of the global conversation and the future of women's soccer in America.
Speaking of the future of women's soccer, you've been in the game in different variations for 20 years now. I did a look down your LinkedIn page going all the way back to when you were a coach. I know it must be kind of overwhelming going from that position all the way up to a president of a league. One, was that ever your aspiration? And two, how do you see the development of the game over your time in the US and maybe even for specifically the women?
You know what, Austin, I've never had a job that someone before me had in professional soccer. So, outside of coaching and playing, which is my heart and soul and kind of how I grew up in the sport, every job I've taken has been new. So when I started in the professional game, I was doing social media. And then I went to Major League Soccer and I was doing fan development, fan engagement, direct-to-consumer marketing, data. I've worked on the player side. So I was at FIFPro as a chief women's football officer doing labor relations around the world. But that was a new role at FIFPro. And now at the USL, we haven't had women's soccer before here. So I think that my career has paralleled the growth of women's soccer, really in a global space. And I think as we continue to forge new ground and break new barriers, I feel really fortunate that I've been in positions to do just that. So no, when I was a little girl playing on the dusty fields in Tucson, Arizona, did I see this even as an opportunity? No, certainly not, because it didn't exist. And so now being in this position to say it does exist and there are opportunities not only to work, but to watch, or not only to play, but to work and watch the game too. It's an honor. And I've, dedicated my life to this sport and I will continue to do so.
And finally, ultimately, what does success look like for this league? It's new. Obviously, anything that's new is got its ups and downs, but what would success look like for you maybe 1, 3, 5, 15, 20 years down the road?
Yeah, well, we look at it in terms of immediate viability and long-term sustainability. So as we're thinking about coming out the gates in 2024, what are the core elements for us to be successful from what do consumers want? What are fans interested in? What needs do the players have in terms of a league that they want to play in? We're really focused on creating a league of choice, players, fans, coaches, administrators, executives, and making sure that we create the infrastructure so that immediately in 2024, this league is successful. And then the long-term pieces, which are, of course, revenue, sponsorship, building a long-term sustainable business model. So for us, it's about building for the future of women's sport. We've, announced a couple things in terms of our structure that look unique and different. We're on the international match calendar, which means we'll play from August to June with a winter break and a summer break. We'll be the first American league to do that, but we believe that that's important because of the globalization of women's soccer, and the future of this sport is integration and collaboration with the rest of the world. And like I mentioned at the top of our interview as well, the player pathway, thinking about player development from youth to pro. So hopefully, Austin, 10 years from now, a girl who's playing soccer somewhere in a city that today doesn't have a professional women's team, 10 years from now, she'll be featuring on the team in that market.
Well, that's really inspiring. I think that that's fantastic. And it's great to see that you're continuing, like you said, to push forward and do things. And I can't imagine what even comes next after this. But we do know what's coming next. You are coming to Miami for Soccerex in November. We're looking forward to having you, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.